Sculpted Grace. 15 Stoic Lessons on Silence, Power, and Self-Mastery. Introduction: the quiet that changes everything. The loudest scream is silence from someone who used to care. Stoicism teaches us something uncomfortable, something most people never want to hear. Not every battle is meant to be fought with words. Not every misunderstanding deserves clarification. And not every relationship survives self-respect. We live in a world that worships reaction. Explain yourself. Defend your feelings. Prove your intentions. Chase closure like oxygen. But the Stoics, men who survived exile, loss, betrayal, and power, knew that the greatest strength often comes from restraint. From choosing stillness over noise. From walking away without collapsing the room behind you. Silence, when chosen consciously, is not weakness. It is alignment. It is the moment you stop bleeding energy into places that never healed you. It is the moment you choose dignity over validation. It is the moment your inner life becomes louder than external opinion. This is sculpted grace, where power is internal, composure is practiced, and silence becomes philosophy in motion. Let us begin. Lesson 1: Control what is yours, release what is not. The foundation of Stoicism rests on a single, life-altering distinction. What is within your control, and what is not. You control your actions. You control your responses. You control your values. You do not control how others perceive you, interpret you, or remember you. And yet most suffering comes from trying to govern exactly that. When you go silent, you are not surrendering control. You are reclaiming it. You stop explaining yourself to people who already decided who you are. You stop offering clarity to those who thrive on confusion. You stop exhausting yourself managing narratives that were never yours to own. Epictetus taught that peace begins the moment you release the illusion of control over others. Silence is that release in action. It is the discipline of saying, "I will govern myself, and let the world do what it will." In practical life, this means resisting the urge to respond to provocation. It means letting misunderstandings exist without rushing to fix them. It means trusting that truth does not require constant defense. Silence here is not passive. It is intentional sovereignty. Lesson 2: Silence is the final boundary. Boundaries are not always loud. Sometimes the strongest boundary is the one that requires no explanation. Stoicism teaches that you do not owe access to everyone. Just because someone can reach you does not mean they are entitled to you. Silence becomes the final boundary when all others have been ignored. Words are invitations. Silence is closure. Marcus Aurelius warned against wasting energy trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When communication repeatedly fails, withdrawal becomes wisdom. This lesson shows up when you stop responding to emotional bait. When you no longer engage in circular arguments. When you refuse to rehash the same wounds with someone who never tends them. In daily life, silence protects your nervous system. It keeps you from reopening emotional wounds just to be heard for 5 minutes. It allows you to step back without declaring war. A Stoic boundary does not threaten. It does not explain. It simply exists. Lesson 3, Absence reveals attachment. People often confuse presence with value. The Stoics observed something uncomfortable. What is constantly available is rarely respected. When you were present, your effort blended into the background. Your patience felt endless. Your understanding felt guaranteed. But when you stepped away quietly, the attachment surfaced. Absence forces awareness. This is not manipulation, it is revelation. Silence exposes who relied on you, who took you for granted, and who only noticed your worth once it was no longer accessible. In practice, this lesson teaches you to step back and observe. Who respects your silence? Who panics? Who grows resentful? Who suddenly remembers your importance? Stoicism does not ask you to enjoy this realization. Lesson 4, Dignity is quiet. True dignity does not beg for recognition. Seneca warned against emotional exhibitionism, the compulsion to display pain in order to be validated. The Stoic path is quieter, steadier, more grounded. When you stop explaining your hurt, you stop feeding those who only listen to feel powerful. Silence allows you to suffer privately, heal deliberately, and move forward without theatrics. It keeps your self-respect intact when words would cheapen your experience. In real life, dignity looks like not posting subtweets, not seeking sympathy, not narrating your pain for public approval. You don't disappear. You consolidate. Lesson 5, The ego fears stillness. Noise is a shield. Drama distracts from accountability. Reaction keeps reflection at bay. The ego thrives in chaos because chaos prevents clarity. Silence strips all of that away. When you go quiet, the other person is left alone with their thoughts. No reassurance. No distraction. No emotional feedback. Just the mirror. Stoicism teaches that discomfort is not the enemy, avoidance is. Lesson 6, Peace is not passive. Peace is discipline. Stoicism does not promote emotional numbness. It promotes emotional regulation, the ability to feel without being ruled by feeling. Silence is not indifference. It is restraint chosen over impulse. This lesson appears when you choose not to send the message you've typed 10 times. When you let the wave pass. When you prioritize long-term stability over short-term relief. Stoics understood that immediate expression often sacrifices future peace. Silence preserves it. In life, peace requires daily practice. It means choosing not to react even when reaction feels justified. It means trusting your inner order more than external chaos. Lesson 7, Your value is not negotiated. A Stoic never argues for worth. They demonstrate it through consistency or withdrawal. When you stop over-explaining your value, you teach others how to treat you. Silence is often the moment you stop auditioning for respect. This lesson matters when you realize that being understood is not a prerequisite for being worthy. You do not need consensus to stand firmly in yourself. Practically, this looks like refusing to chase reassurance. Lesson 8: Silence is a mirror. Silence reflects more than words ever could. Without your presence, people confront their own behavior. Without your reassurance, insecurity surfaces. Without your patience, imbalance becomes visible. Stoicism values observation over interference. Silence allows you to watch rather than participate. In life, this teaches discernment. You see who respects your space and who resents it. Who grows and who collapses without your energy. The mirror is not for judgment. It is for clarity. Lesson 9: Not everyone deserves closure. Closure is internal. Stoicism rejects the idea that peace requires permission from others. You do not need agreement to move on. Silence becomes closure when further conversation would only reopen wounds. In practice, this means letting unanswered questions exist. Letting stories remain unfinished. Letting people sit with ambiguity. You are not cruel for protecting your peace. You are disciplined. Lesson 10: Emotional independence is freedom. The Stoics believed freedom was emotional self-sufficiency. When your peace no longer depends on external response, you become ungovernable. Silence severs invisible chains: approval seeking, validation hunger, emotional dependency. In life, this looks like calm during misunderstanding, stillness during rejection, stability during uncertainty. Freedom begins where reaction ends. Lesson 11: Power leaves no trace. True power does not announce itself. It does not provoke. It does not posture. It does not seek witnesses. Silence allows power to exist without resistance. It moves without opposition. Stoics knew that the most influential force is often the least visible. In practice, this means letting outcomes speak. Letting absence teach. Letting composure unsettle chaos. Lesson 12: Let them sit with the consequence. Stoicism does not rush to rescue. Growth requires discomfort. Silence allows others to experience the weight of their choices without interference. This lesson appears when you stop cushioning consequences. When you stop absorbing emotional labor that was never yours. You are not responsible for managing others' realizations. Lesson 13: You are not here to be remembered, you are here to be aligned. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that time is limited. You are not here to preserve appearances. You are here to live in alignment with your values. Silence protects alignment when words would betray it. In life, alignment means walking away without applause. Choosing peace over popularity. Integrity over recognition. Lesson 14: The quiet mind is untouchable. Chaos feeds on reaction. Silence starves it. When you no longer respond emotionally, manipulation loses leverage. Guilt loses grip. Control dissolves. Stoicism teaches that mastery begins internally. A quiet mind cannot be conquered. Lesson 15, walk away without burning the house. A Stoic exit is clean. No accusations. No spectacle. No emotional debris. Just clarity. Silence allows you to leave without poisoning what remains. It preserves your dignity and your future. Walking away quietly is not defeat. It is completion. Closing reflection. You did not go silent to hurt anyone. You went silent to heal. You didn't leave to be missed. You left to be whole. And if your absence speaks louder than your presence ever did, that is not your burden to carry. This is sculpted grace, where silence is strength, peace is power, and self-respect is the loudest voice in the room.